I'm back for a brand new video today, and this week's interview, it's a fan's favourite, Armand Oné. Talk me through your early years of being a footballer.
Brough knocked down Oné, and it's a ball that's deflected.
So I started football when I was 8, about 8, 9, at my local team, CSL Only, where I'm from, the suburbs of Paris. And I stayed there, played there for about 3 years, and then one day my dad asked me if I wanted to go for a trial, because he had seen an advert in one of those old football magazines, and he had sent a request for a trial. And so basically in the magazine there was like a section that was saying we're looking for players for this age group, and if you think that your son is good enough, then send him for a trial. So my dad sent a request, and then they replied. They asked him they told him to basically bring your son and see what he's got. So then me and my brother got on a train and we went to Nantes, and there was about 80, 90 kids there, and it was like a three days trial. So when I went there, I actually stayed with my cousin Gregory Taddy and his family, and after the second day, maybe I already knew that I was going to get kept. But what I didn't know at the time is that they only kept 3 players, and I was one of those 3 players. So that was the start of my professional journey, if you want to call it that way. So I stayed at Nantes for 5 years, which was probably the best years of my youth. I was in the academy. I was staying there because the academy was about 2.5 hours away from my house. So I was staying there. There was about 40 players. We were staying all together, training together, and obviously with different age group, but with your own age group. And it was really competitive, which was amazing, because then it made you want to be the best. So I remember when I first got there after 6 months, because I thought, I was good in my football, in my local team. I was probably one of the best players in my local team, in my age group. I thought I would be strolling through, the academy, and it was not the case. After 6 months, they actually told me, if you don't up your game, then you'll be going home. So after that, I literally put a head down and worked as hard as I could, and it paid off. It paid off. I stayed there for 5 years total. So then during that time, I had a call up when I was 15. I had a call up for France, which was amazing as well. I didn't get much game time, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I only played the last probably 5 minutes of the game, which still was a good experience. And then after that, unfortunately, I got injured, and anyway. So, but then, 5 years flew by, and then I was 18 years old, and it was basically the time for me to either break it through the first team or try to get, or move somewhere else.
You started off playing in France before moving to England. What was the reason behind the move?
So when I turned 18, when I was in Nantes, I had a sit down with the coaches, and basically they were telling me that I was going to be potentially being on the bench for the reserve, because the way things are going in Nantes is the striker for the first team goes down. Like if he doesn't play 90 minutes, goes and play for the reserves. Then me being in the reserve, then on the bench, sorry. And so being 18 years old and, you know, thinking, oh, I'm better than that, I want to play every weekend. So I just decided to go and try my chance somewhere else, basically. So then I went to Saint Etienne on trial, and things were going really well. It was supposed to be a week trial, so after 3 days the coaches were already telling me how well I was doing, and how happy they wanted, you know, they were looking forward for me to sign at the club. And then there was a Wednesday, my agent phoned me and told me that he had an opportunity for me in England, and because I had said to him many times I wanted to try my chance in England. So when he phoned me and told me that there was a possibility for me to go to England, have a trial in Man City, I just couldn't pass. I just said, okay, forget about Saint Etienne, let's go. So then, being in England, training with Man City, at the time the manager was Kevin Keegan, it was just surreal. Like, you know, 1 minute I'm watching them on TV, the next minute I'm training, on the pitch with players I was watching the night before, so it was just amazing. So then I spent 2 weeks there, and it was really good. I remember Sean Wright Phillips. We played a game together. We played Aston Villa, and I wasn't really good during that game, to be honest with you. I don't know if it was the nerves or I was just, not feeling it. I don't know what it was, but even myself, I was really disappointed after the game. So then Kevin Keegan after the game told me that, he says, you're a good player, you've got potential, but you're not ready for the Premier League. So he basically told me, to go and try in Championship or League One, and he says he'll keep an eye on me. So then my agent told me that Cambridge United were looking for strikers. So then I ended up going there the next day, and they were playing the game, and I started the game, scored a hat-trick with the first half. I was so angry with myself because of the performance at Man City. So first game, scored a hat-trick, then I came off second half, and the manager says to me, right, I think you're the player we're looking for, and spent like 2 seasons there, which was amazing. But then the first season, I was probably my best experience, because after 6 months at the club, Arsenal potentially made an offer for me. They were looking at me. They were saying they wanted a replacement for Kanu and stuff like this. So I was really, it was surreal. I was 18 years old. It was just like 1 minute I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to be playing for Nantes. I'll be on the bench, and the next minute I'm in England, playing week in, week out, and enjoying life really. And then that year we went to the final of the LD Van Trophy. So we played at Millennium, Cardiff, which was again amazing. So that's me, 19 years old, standing there singing God Save the Queen. I didn't know the words, I didn't even know what it was at the time. So it was quite funny, because I had guys next to me like in their 30s, English guys singing God Save the Queen, crying and stuff, and I'm standing there like, are we starting that game or what? So yeah, it was really good. And actually that week before the game, I went on trial, Middlesbrough. I know not that many people know that, because it was just before the final. And so then I went on, and the manager got changed, and that's when it all went to downhill. So the manager got changed, but the manager got changed with a player who was a striker, John Taylor at the time. It was like a legend for the club. The guy had played like 400 games or whatever. And when I signed at the club, basically he thought he was going to be playing, starting, and when I signed, I took his spot. So then I was playing every weekend, and he wasn't but then he ended up coaching the reserve. And then when the manager got sacked, he took over and he started introducing reserve players and saying to me that those players are better than me. Which probably were, I don't know, but I didn't mind. I loved the challenge. So then he started playing them instead of me. And when they weren't performing, he wasn't really changing them. He was keeping me on the bench and stuff. So we kind of got a heated, relationship at that point. So then I asked to go on trial. I asked to go on loan, sorry. So I ended up on loan the following season. I ended up on loan in Northampton. So I went to Northampton, went on loan there for 3 months, and it was going really well. I was playing up front with Gabbiadini. I don't know if you remember him, and but it was going well. I was performing well. I was scoring goals. I was, the supporter loved me and stuff like this. And then my loan finished. I went back to Cambridge. They were struggling at the time, and so the coach told me, said, "Oh, we're gonna need you because the strikers are injured, and so Dave Kitson at the time, strikers are injured. We need you at the club and stuff like this." And Northampton were asking me to go back there, finish the season. So I felt bad, and I thought, Cambridge is still my club. I'm gonna stay and help them out. And then I came back, and the manager just done a 360 on me, and then he put me with the reserve team. I just kind of lost kind of interest in football and stuff like this at that point. So I was kind of disappointed with myself, thinking, "Oh, you're too nice" and stuff like this. But then, my agent says to me, finish your contract there, and then eventually we'll be going somewhere else. So don't worry about it. So then I finished the contract there, and then I went to Wrexham. I went for 6 months there. And it was hard because I was in a hotel in the middle of nowhere, and I just wanted to play. I wanted to enjoy life again. So it was a bad time in my life because I wanted to love football again, but because I was in the middle of nowhere, I couldn't. It was too hard for me to just focus on just the football because I had nobody. I had no friends, no family, nothing. I was staying in a hotel. And it was hard. So it didn't really work out for me there. Like mentally, it was not good. So then eventually, when I went back to France for a few months, my agent says to me, "You know what? I've got a team in Scotland, Partick Thistle, that are looking for a striker."
Comes that flicked off a Northampton head. Oné, 2-0. Tremendous volley there. Tudor's corner was beautifully weighted. I think it was Burgess who flicked it on. And there was Oné to smash it in. 2-0 to Cambridge United. But a lovely pass. Oné through, shrugging off Burgess and Hope. 3-1. Oh la la, what a wonderful goal by the Frenchman. It was made by Kitson's through ball, but Oné still had a lot to do. His strength taking him past Burgess, and what a finish. First goal with his right foot, the second with his left.
After a few years in England, you moved to Scotland. What was the memories from this time?
So when I signed for Livingstone, I was up front with Leo Griffiths at the time. He was just a young kid, like talented, really talented. I remember because he had an injury. He was injured for like 2 or 3 months at that time, and he still finished top scorer of the league, which was, a great achievement at that age. And also Andy Halliday was there. He was really, really good at that time. That's when he used to play on the wing. Then all of a sudden he was a centre mid and right back or left back or whatever. But yeah, Andy Halliday was really talented as well. And Murray Dennison had a young, a good quality young squad at the time, which was refreshing to see, in Scotland and stuff. So I really enjoyed my time in Livingstone. And then unfortunately we got demoted, and then they were asking the players on like a big salary to kind of leave, to kind of find their way somewhere else basically, because they were trying to reduce the wage and stuff. So I ended up going down south to Gateshead, and after 6 months came back up the road, and I had no club at the time, so it was like another time where you have to look for a club, and obviously the family is up here. At the time my girlfriend, then was my wife now, we had two boys, no, 3 kids, what was that? Yeah, 3 kids, my daughter was there, so we had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl at the time, so it was kind of hard, to be away from home and stuff like this, so I had to, come home and try to get something up in Scotland.
In 2010, you made the best decision ever, signing for Stranraer. What made you sign for the club?
In 2010, coming home from Gateshead, I was in a house, and my phone went, and it was Romeo Boaji. So me and Romeo are really close as well. And so he phoned me up and said, what are you doing with yourself? I heard you were home. I was like, yeah, I'm up here. I'm in Scotland. I've not got a club. I don't know what to do. And he said to me, oh, I'm playing for Stranraer. You should come and train with us, just keep yourself fit and see, for our next move and stuff like this. So I was like, okay, no problem. At the time, they were training at Soccer World on AstroTurf. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come round. So I came round and I went to the training session, and it was Keith Knox, the manager at the time, with Ginge, asset manager. So I went there and I was like, okay, that's all right, good bunch of guys, good laugh, good banter. Mike Vermeer, top man. So I was like, yeah, that's a nice wee club, And then eventually they asked me if I wanted to play again, if I wanted to sign for the club and stuff. So I think my first game was Montrose, and it was Wee Aggie's game, Wee Aggie's first game as well. So Wee Aggie, left peg, out of this world. So first game, I remember, I think I scored a double, and Aggie scored as well, and Rom scored an OG, and then he ended up scoring the winning goal. So it was like a great experience for like the first game at the club. And then obviously because I had that kind of chemistry with some of the boys, I thought, you know what, I think this club could be, good for me. So I ended up, signing for the club and enjoyed, loved every minute.
Best player you've played against and why?
Best player I play against, this is a hard one because I played against so many players, so many good players, but the only one that keeps coming back to my mind would have to be Jos Hoyville, who played for Celtic. We played together in Scandinavia, so we were like kind of rivals. So basically we played for the 2 teams that were like Celtic and Rangers, but in Finland, like same town, same league and stuff like this. So, and then we ended up being good friends. So, and then on top of that, he went on and signed for Celtic after, moving from Finland to Sweden, being team league, player of the year in Sweden, then signing for Celtic, then going to Southampton, getting promoted for Southampton and then playing in the Premier League, you know, so he's probably the only one that comes back just because of friendship. But I played against so many players, but I would say yours were them.
What's the best 1 to 11 players you've played with?
Okay, so 1 to 11 players. So the first one, first of all, I'm going to pick those players because they had an impact on my life, because either we're good friends or, you know, they had at the time, I thought, you know, they had a good impact on my life. So the first one would be Lukas Radzicki, who was a number 2 goalie when I was in Scandinavia, and at the time we already knew he was going to be big. So now he's the Leverkusen goalkeeper. So that's my number 1. My number 2 would be, right back, would be Johnny Rannis, who I met at Party Thistle when I first came to Scotland, and who's today one of my closest friend. Was my best man at my wedding. My left back would be Mark Doherty, who I met when I was we played together at Alloa, who's from Corbridge as well, so we're still a close friend. Jos Højvel, centre back, obviously, like I said, a good friend of mine when I was from my time in Scandinavia, my rival. So other one would be, the other centre back would be, this one is more for, he impressed me with his captain skill, his little skill, and his combativity. It would be Grant Murray when I was at Partick. I was a great captain. It was like one of those guys that, yeah, I would go to war with. Then I went for a 4-3-3, so then it would be Simo Valakari. Don't know if you remember him. He played for Motherwell at one point, but also I met him in Scandinavia. It was a centre mid, really clever player, experienced player, and it was good to play against him. I learned a lot from him, playing with him, and then there will be Aggie. I have to have Aggie in my squad. His left peg was just out of this world. He made me score those 25 goals. He made it easy for me to score those 25 goals for Stranraer, because he just put it on the plate for me. So I have to have him in my squad. Another one would be, I don't know if you guys gonna remember him or know who he is, French, Jeremy Toulalan. We played together in the football academy, and obviously I moved on to England. He played for non-first team, then he moved on, played for Lyon and Sevilla, and he played in the World Cup for France 2010 in South Africa. That's another one. So then strikers, like I said, 4-3-3. Strikers will be Malky, Craig Malcolm, my partner in crime, Stranraer. We were, the complicity between us was really good. Like, we were good together. So you have to have you in my squad. And then the other one has to be Lee Griffiths. Also, I enjoyed my time in Livingston with him. So, and then the last one would be me. So that's my best 11.
Are you still involved with football?
I'm still involved in football. So I'm, involved on and off, really. Because sometimes I help out a friend of mine who's got some kind of, he does like one-on-one training stuff with kids and like younger adults and stuff. So sometimes I go and help out just to kind of share, I don't know if I can call it knowledge, but basically share what I know about football and stuff, and I go and help out when he's got like a thing about strikers and stuff like this. So, you know, it's kind of, I can't just, I feel like I have to, you know, give it back. So I was involved back when my son was younger. I was coaching my local team for a few years, and then until my son moved on, then got signed by Aki's. So now he's in Aki's academy. He's under 15. So on a personal level, yes, I'm still involved, like with my son, and try to show him the way. Really, I hope he's gonna be, I hope he's gonna be able to do what he loves to do, which is playing football to, a good level, at a good level.
Do you have any funny football stories?
I remember a time when I was playing, I can't remember who I was playing against. I was playing with, but it was against Stranraer, actually. And there was a fan in the stand that was like slagging me off for being overweight and stuff. And he was like calling me, you FB, you fat, this and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, alright, well, you're not lying, so it's alright. And then I scored. So I ran up towards him and I was like rubbing my belly and he was like, good one, big man, good one, big one. And then at the end I went and kind of shook his hand and stuff. So yeah, I've got a lot of stories, but yeah, that one kind of came to mind because it was against Stranraer, so yeah. So I would like to thank the club, thank the fans, thank everybody really that was involved, and my time at Stranraer. Like I was saying earlier about, the family, the feeling, the warmth that the club made me feel at the time when I was there. Great memories, great time. You can't buy those moments, so, and like, this is a present from the club at the time when I got married. So I'd like to thank you for this present. It's on display in my living room, and it reminds me, how much the club was part of my life. Keith Knock was at my wedding, Ian was at my wedding. So it meant a lot for me. It means a lot for me. So I would like to thank you again and love you guys.
Thanks, Armand, for this week's interview. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do one again in the future. So everybody, just remember that I'm doing a giveaway when I hit 150 subscribers. And just stay tuned for the next video. So everybody, remember to like, subscribe and share and hit the bell symbol so you never run your video. Peace, see you in the next one. Goodbye.